Abraham, I was wondering if you could comment on the subject of AIDS for a minute. I was going back in an old Seth book and reading some passages, and Seth made the comment in one paragraph that if we didn't learn to create responsibly with our planet, that we wouldn't destroy the earth, the birds, the plants, that we would not be worthy of them, and they would destroy us. So I'm kind of wondering if it's a possibility that the AIDS virus could be maybe a way that the earth is trying to keep us in check because we haven't been so responsible. Could that be a possibility?
We are not certain what frame of mind our friend Seth was in when he made such a statement, but we are absolutely not in agreement with that which you have just spoken. Your earth will not be destroyed. We're not saying you might not mess it up a bit so that it is not as comfortable as you might want it to be. But it is seeking its own balance, you see. Mm-hmm. And so it will continue. Your understanding of disease, your physical perspective, is very much distorted. In fact, that is what disease is. It is a distortion of reality. For you exist as perfect beings, and anything that you experience that is less than that is your distorted perspective. Now, it is possible that you could come to the point of seeing through such distorted view that from your perspective your world is ruined. It is possible that that is the point of view that your friend was speaking from. When we acknowledge you, even the sickest of you, we see the probability for perfect health or illness to the point of dying. The options are all yours. What happens in this physical environment where you have adopted the train of thought, one from another, one from another, one from another, is that through your perspective that you call fact or proof or evidence, you come to expect with such great power that it seems impossible to most of you to get away from that momentum. And that is the reason that words such as terminal come forth, or this is a fatal disease, meaning there is no way out of it. And we say those words are contradictory to the laws of the universe. You can go right out the same door you came in, no matter what the subject, you see. But you have to understand that you hold the power to do it. When we talk about wellness, we're not talking about it as something that you should strive for. We are talking about it as something that you already are. And if you could just see it and accept it, then it would be, and so would the physical manifestation of it fall into line. But when you have been convinced of your illness or of your unworthiness or of your vulnerability or whatever, then through those eyes you experience. You see, everything that you see here upon this planet exists because of a perspective that was offered from broader perspective. It is the way the energy came together as matter. As you are now living upon the earth, by the same processes and through the same laws, you are creating your individual world around you. When we talk about you being the creator of your experience or of your reality, we mean it in every sense of the word. When we say you are creator, we do not mean you are the creator of tables or lamps or relationships or empires. What we mean is you are the creator of your personal state of being, and from that personal state of being, you attract the other stuff unto you. And so we know that it is difficult when you live in a world that has all of this proof. They say to you, look at the facts. The facts are that when you have this sort of disease, under these sorts of circumstances, that you have about this long to live. These are the undeniable, unchangeable facts. And as you accept that, your very acceptance of it perpetuates it further. But it is not just in the acceptance of it after the fact that your decline continues, for it was already in progress before you manifested it to begin with. In other words, that feeling of unworthiness or that feeling of vulnerability is what attracted the disease to you to begin with. You see. A young man called us recently very upset because he had just been informed that his mother was dead. And he called us in great pain, and he said, "Abraham, she should not be dead. She's very young, very healthy. She goes to aerobics 3 times every week, and she eats all sorts of food supplements and eats only the healthiest of foods. How can it be? How can this correlate with what you have been teaching me when she was such a seeker of health? And here she is dying from, or dead from illness." And we said, "Can you see that from her place of not feeling her wellness, not knowing her well-being, but wanting it, from that place of lack, she was reaching out with all sorts of effort, all sorts of pills, all sorts of exercise, with every bit of that action compounding or reinforcing her feeling of vulnerability." You see, it is not your action that makes the difference. It is the way you feel as you act. And so your work, whether it is regarding your subject of prosperity or of health or of relationship, it doesn't matter what it is, your work is to bring yourself to that place of feeling your well-being, of feeling your power, of feeling your prosperity. And from that point of attraction, you bring unto you the physical trappings, the physical illusion. But the reality of it is the way you feel. Understand? Mm-hmm. You're wanting to speak?
Yes. So, in other words, even the state of being diseased or unhealthy could be perceived as a perfect state, or a deformed person could actually be perceived as a perfect state.
That is not, we're not trying to get you so much to look at something that is painful or distorted and call it perfect. We're trying to get you to look for the perfection around that. In other words, to look for that which is perfect. You see, we've watched our physical friends. All of your apparatus can be working perfectly, and you can have one little thing that is bothering you, and you give your full attention to the one little thing that is bothering you. And so what we are saying is give your attention to the well-being that is ultimately yours, and then let your physical body catch up with it. It is a little bit like, as we say to you, where do you get your water? And you would explain, well, in this case, I go to the faucet, and I turn the knob, and I hold the container beneath the faucet. And we say, we agree, we see that that is happening. There is evidence or proof. And if you were to poll the people in your city, only a fool would deny that that is a way to get water. Our point is that there is much more to the story than the faucet. There is much more to the story than the pipes leading into the house, or the water system of your community, or the ecological system of your planet. There is much more to the story of water than this little ending place that you are experiencing. But the tendency as physical beings is to give all of, or at least the majority, 99.99% of your attention to this last little physical part, and call it fact or proof or evidence, and then be trapped by what you see, because you see no way out of it, when you have created every part of it by the way that you feel, you see. We have not found an easy transition to jolt you or even to guide you slowly into giving your attention first to the way you feel, because the world got a head start on us. You have been physically oriented beings, giving all of the credit to the action part of your life for so long. And we say to you that the action part of your life is minuscule in the way it brings unto you, that it is the way that you feel that is making the great difference. Action can enhance the way you feel, or the way you feel can lead to the action. But we are wanting to get those of you who are really wanting to understand this business of creation to the point of understanding that the only real thing that is important is your state of being. And everything else is toward that end. All of the furniture, all of the relationships, all of the animals, all of the food, everything that you see upon this physical sphere is toward one end, and that is to enhance your state of being.
Then why is it that mankind in the past and now has had plagues of one sickness or another come upon him until
because man believes in his vulnerability. Have you noticed, do you not find it interesting that as soon as one is conquered by the desire to solve it, that another one is created?
Yeah, definitely.
And the reason that this continues to occur is because they are feeling so vulnerable.